for your own edification, this is going to be released as a piece of written content, probably broken up into a small synopsis that's going to be on LinkedIn with a link to go to the DVHIMSS website, which is where the leadership wants to host a lot of the longer form content and drive traffic to the site. That's sort of my vision for this. Okay. So you mentioned you're last in Arizona. So where are you originally from and how long have you been here in the Delaware Valley?
So that's an interesting question. I will say I'm from Mentor, Mentor, Ohio, which is a suburb east of Cleveland. And I've been here in the Delaware Valley for 2 years, but I did go to Penn Nursing, so I'm back after many years.
And what brought you back here? Is it just the specific opportunity that you're currently in?
It was my exactly for this job that I'm in. So my title is Nursing Informatics Senior Project Manager. And I manage one large nursing data and analytics platform project for Children's Hospital of Philadelphia.
Okay. And how long have you been in nursing informatics?
I've been in the space for about 12 and a half years. I have not had, in the last few, let's see, put it this way. In the last few years, I've held a specific informatics role, but I've been doing informatics since I went into the IT space. I'm currently not in the IT, I'm not in IT right now. I'm in our Center for Pediatric Nursing Research and Evidence-Based Practice. So it's a little weird for me to be not in a space I was in for 10 years, but it's a different focus now.
Okay. And in terms of how did you get this role? So you said you're a nurse, you have a nursing background. I'm also a nurse, which is super cool. Yeah. And so nursing school for you, bedside nurse, what was your specialty when you were bedside, if you did bedside before going into the IT space?
No, I did I was a bedside nurse for, what have I been doing? 32 years. So I was a bedside nurse for about 20 years. So about 15 of that was emergency department. I did pre-op and PICU. I also did things on the side. I did fixed wing air transport, a couple other things, but I also did critical care ambulance transport on the side. I've always had a side job. I have a side job now. I work for Trinity Health, doing nursing home care, providing nursing care in the home for elderly patients. I do that on weekends. It's fun to get back into the clinical space too.
That was my question. So because I feel like I'm going through a similar thing the further I'm going away from being close to the bedside, I'm an OR nurse. And so the further that I go away, the more that I find value in taking the time to go work weekends. And I don't do that currently, but it's something I can see myself doing coming back. How do you feel that that's just the nurse in you, once a nurse, always a nurse, and you just love that bedside piece?
Yeah, I mean, even being an informaticist, it's a nursing specialty. I mean, we're still nurses, but our focus is more on. Our focus always ends with the patient, right? But it's more on the nurses, the clinicians, the whomever is using technology to make it easier, more efficient. Make sure the workflows are right for them. But it's been really fun. I've been doing it for over a year now. It's just been really fun going into, and I never did home nursing. So it's just different. It's a different way of thinking. It's, I had to go back and remember, oh yeah, I'm giving meds. I really should be checking to make sure that they're all here because sometimes they do miss them. They miss a med. I'm like, this one was missing, or you guys, you didn't date the bottle. I don't know how old this bottle of insulin is. So I gave it because I had nothing else. Just those things, like just going back to, I'm like, oh yeah, nursing basics. But it's been really fun. Yeah,
That's
I wanted something that wasn't back in the hospital, though. I didn't want to be doing 12-hour shifts in the hospital
mm,
again. So this is perfect. It's wonderful. I typically have the same patients. I look forward to seeing them. It doesn't tax me. I still have time for other stuff.
awesome.
Worked out
And
well.
so how did you break it? So what was your like breakout story from how you
Okay.
went from being a bedside nurse to being an informaticist?
So I was getting my master's in healthcare informatics and so I was working in pre-op and PACU right before my organization in Arizona was going live with Epic, and they were looking for credentialed trainers in the areas, and my nurse manager knew that I was, getting my master's, and so she put me forward as a credentialed trainer. So I went through that and trained all the peri-op people on the their the uptime and anesthesia applications in Epic. And then right after we went live, an uptime anesthesia analyst position came open, and I was able to go into that role, and that's how I broke in. I got very lucky because I understand that now it's very difficult for people going to getting their masters in informatics to kind of break in because they don't have any kind of experience.
And that's an awesome story. And I feel like there are many opportunities for nurses, um, depending upon the organization and how well you have a relationship with your Epic team, where it can be a really easy transition to go from being a bedside nurse who maybe is on unit council,
Hmm.
or you're maybe doing something with data where you have to work closely with the team, that when there's an opening, the Epic teams are, I think, very welcoming now to having clinicians on their team. And I've heard sort of the feedback, and I'm not an Epic analyst, but sort of the feedback I've heard is that the conversations you can have, just speaking the language, being the Rosetta Stone almost of speaking the IT and speaking the
Hmm.
clinical, you ramp up faster, your builds are faster. What, you know, I guess A, do you agree with that? And B, if there's a nurse either going for their master's or looking to figure out what it is that they want to do in IT, how would you recommend that they break into it, or just even talk to different people that have the roles? Because I've seen people who like Epic, or some people don't want to do Epic. They want to go learn SQL and be like a business intelligence person, and they're using their clinical skills for that as well. But what would you recommend to somebody wanting to break into IT from the clinical setting?
I think I never even I think when I started I really didn't understand what informatics was and what healthcare informatics would be. And going into IT, I had no clue what I was going in, getting into. So I really went in a little blind. I just That's kind of how I do things. I just follow whatever my interests and takes me wherever. But it ended up being exactly what I wanted, where I needed to be. And I think being a clinician, and my role was specifically an RN analyst role, so it was made for a nurse. Um, but I think having that clinical background, understanding the workflows is really important. But I think it also can lead to a problem, which I am guilty of. You're a nurse. I know the workflows. I know what they're doing. Nah, you don't. Things change. So that's why it's really important to go to the users and observe the users and see what they're doing, why they're doing these workarounds. So I think that's a mistake. A lot of clinicians, I wouldn't say mistake. It's an assumption a lot of clinicians make, and it's not that they know what's going on, but they really don't, because things do change, and each organization is very different. But it was also very helpful for our technical side, the server side, the network side, to help them understand when things go wrong, how it impacts the clinicians and the patients. we can explain that in a way that they can understand it. But as far as people trying to break out into the role, I think it's important to join the professional organizations like HIMSS, start networking, get on governance councils, get involved, become a super user, volunteer for projects so that people can get to know you. You can become known as as a clinical expert, and then show your interests. And I think that's worked for a lot of different people and kind of getting their way in when there's openings. It could be even just looking outside of the hospital space and going into the vendor space and breaking in that way and using your clinical skills. There, a lot of them, they're looking for nurses and may or may not have experience, but your nursing background is really important.
Thanks. Yeah, I agree. And I feel like in my role, which my role feels like two distinct jobs. There's the data side of it that has heavy interaction with the Epic, and then there's the business operations, which is our block time and revenue cycle. I think as the nurse in me, and understanding how nursing documentation, physician documentation, how case requests are put in, affect how the rev cycle partners call me and say, hey, can you help with what's going on? The feedback that's been given to me is that they found that extremely helpful because, the rev cycle analysts or rev cycle providers who are making sure that we get our accounts out the door and we have the documentation, they're like, this is happening. Here's a work queue full of 30 accounts and a lot of money. Please fix this. And then the nurse and me is investigating. Okay, well, I see that the documentation is completely missing from something. Talk to the nurse manager. Well, I think we have a documentation workflow problem, or they coded a procedure as device dependent, and you read the op note and they didn't use that device, right? So there was an error on the front end and maybe an error in the coding side. But here I get to use my clinical knowledge, and I feel like I'm also fortunate that I'm an OR nurse working in the OR space with this. Use my experience to go ahead and really explain that. And I think we've been able to fix a lot of systemic problems by looking at the big picture, which I think is super cool.
Understanding that as a nurse and some of the workflows, and going back and trying to figure out what happened in a record to make it really screwed up.
Right.
Because there were some really screwed up, and say, here's what happened. We can't fix this, but here's what we have to do to get around it, or here's how you need to go fix it.
Right.
But
so I think that's what I love. That's what I love about informatics, is that every day somebody finds a strange way to break something and you're like, well, how did that happen? And so you're equal. It's like, equal parts detective and problem solver, and you get to use, your left and right brain and your nursing skills and your IT skills. And for me, it's such an amazing melting pot, and that's what really attracts me to it. Awesome. And that sort of brings up my next question, which I sent it to you, and sort of the template I have is, what do you plan to get out of your experience with HIMSS this year? And I maybe want to just take a step back from that, because I'm new to this space and I'm new to HIMSS, but I think when I had the option to look at, do I want to join ANIA or HIMSS or a different professional group, I think what attracted me to HIMSS was that it wasn't just nursing. It's very much a diverse group of healthcare IT professionals. And that was something that I really liked and I wanted to learn more from and see more from. And this might be just a Mark question and not go into the formal write-up or interview, but what do you think? Like, do you belong to ANIA as well, or why did you go to HIMSS?
No, I belong to both. I belong to both basically since I was in when I found out about them, which was back in 2011 when I was still a student. It was 2011. So I joined because I'm like, well, I should be part of a professional organization. I'll learn more. They both have networking, I think HIMSS offers more in the way of networking with others, because again, it's not just nursing oriented, but the conferences, I go to both the conferences for both. I was president-elect of our ANIA in Arizona, and then I left, so I didn't become president. But and I was on our HIMSS board. I also think, and we can, that the two organizations can help support each other in some ways. Like we partnered with our HIMSS, because I was a bridge between both, being a member of both boards. We partnered to do a nursing oh my God, for the conference. Sorry, my brain, it's Friday afternoon. My brain is done.
That's okay.
Tract, a nursing tract for the conference. So ANIA sponsored that, and we got the speakers for that tract. Here, I don't really think there's that collaboration, but they offer different things. ANIA is smaller, of course, but HIMSS, I do like that it's people from all over. The networking is great. I am a pretty good connector, so I've actually been able to connect people. Actually, at the last event that they had at the Chart House, I met a guy who was going to be coming here and looking to connect, and I'm like, oh, hey, wait, I just met this guy. You guys need to meet. And I hope that they continue to connect. I don't know, but it's fun, and I love the education sessions. I love meeting new people. I love hearing what's going on. I'm actually speaking at the upcoming conference in Atlantic City, and it's a topic that I just presented on in the UK at an International Nursing Informatics
Awesome.
conference. So really cool. But
Awesome.
they have, it's what you're looking for. What's nice is now, so CHOP pays for, I don't pay for my HIMSS membership. I've always gotten it through my hospital, because they've got an organizational affiliation, and the ANIA membership is, I don't know, maybe $99, but now CHOP covers it, so I can join both and I don't have to pay.
That's awesome.
Which is even better. But yeah, it's just, it doesn't hurt to join. That's what you're looking for. It's whatever you're looking for. But
Sure.
there's
Is it true? Like, is my assessment, and this is Mark asking, for Mark, is the assessment that HIMSS has a wider membership base?
Oh yes.
Correct.
Yeah, yes. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like worldwide. I mean, if you go to HIMSS National, it'll be in Vegas this year.
Mhm.
I was hoping to go. They declined. They decided to decline my abstract, which is fine. So I'm not going, but it's overwhelming. It's truly overwhelming, but there's so much and so many people. ANIA is much small. It's really much smaller, but it's growing. They're working on their membership. That they have a national conference. It's much smaller. I think there were 300 and some when I went in Louisville, but it was really good. And then the Delaware Valley ANIA is having their conference on the 4th of October.
Gotcha.
I need
Okay, I think that's like is that a TC&J somewhere in New Jersey, right?
I don't even know. It's somewhere different this year.
Okay. Awesome. And in terms of any interesting projects, fun projects, you said you had presented. What are some of the things that are really exciting to you that you're working on right now?
So what I'm working on is it's a nursing data and analytics platform. So we have two dashboards, one that's unit-based and one that's nursing-based. And so we've got unit demographics based on mostly discharged patient data. So we can tell, what diagnoses patients on a particular unit have been, what the most prevalent ones are, the ages of the patients, how complex they are, all sorts of different things. And then we've got a nursing dashboard that gives our nursing demographics. I know that we have 5,515 nurses at CHOP. And then we can look at median age, median years at CHOP. We can tell experience based on when they graduated from the nursing degree that allowed them to take the NCLEX. We have workforce data, we've got patient family experience data. Eventually, we're going to put the two together and see how the differing characteristics are impacting patient outcomes. So we're working on pulling in outcomes and all sorts of different things. This is so exciting, which is why I'm here. When I was interviewing with my boss for the first time, and she's talking about the role and the project, I got really excited. This sounds so cool. It's like, I know people want to do this. I said, I've not heard of anyone actually doing this. So they're trying. Some people are doing things in different ways, but I don't know that anyone's really being as comprehensive as we're looking to be. And it's really exciting. And I have amazing data analysts that I work with, and an amazing colleague who's got a really strong background in like software and predictive analytics and AI. And so, when we can start putting those things in, this is going to be really incredible. And we're calling it precision nursing. It's, so we can, be able to pinpoint, the right care for the right, the right nurse for the right patient for the right outcomes. So that's really exciting.
I have like chills. That is so, as a nurse,
So
I think that is so cool. That is so cool.
Yeah, it is.
I have chills at how cool that is, because in my space, and this is the first real data role that I've been in, and informatics role.
Mine too.
And I'm like, I think we need to scale. Like, I mean, I work at Temple. Temple is pretty behind in our use of Epic and data. And
you guys just went live a few years ago.
It's been like 7 years from what I understand, for Temple, Maine, and then sort of the Jeans came on afterwards, and then Fox Chase was later, and now Chestnut Hill. And sort of the feedback from Chestnut Hill is that the Tower Health instance was way better, and that's probably true. But I think the comprehensiveness for data, having a team, having dashboards, running things. I mean, I can just probably grill you for hours on like the technical aspects of how you guys do it, because that's what's really interesting to me. But I think that work is so amazing.
It's so
as
cool.
A nurse, that you can, like, as an organization, to understand the outcome, like, I'm blown away. Because I think in the OR we see it. In the OR we see like the experienced nurses. What do they do? What do they do for turnover? What do they do for like case length? Like how are they having an impact on surgery?
You can see where all the experienced nurses are. They're all in PACU in the OR.
Right.
I mean, that's where they go. ER is also there, but it's really, it's so interesting, because when I was interviewing, I didn't know what I was interviewing for. I had just been applying for jobs. I was like, oh, okay, not sure what this job's about. But the more my boss talked, I just was like, wait a minute, this is so cool. And I told her, I said, honestly, I didn't know what to expect from this interview, but I said, I am so excited by what you're telling me. This is really so cool. And she goes, I am so glad, because she said, the more I tend to tell people, the less excited they get. So I got the job, but I had no idea what I was walking into. This is the first time I've done this, but it's so neat. And the thing is, they had the platforms, the dashboards were built. They were essentially built, but there was no nursing input at that level. It was high level. So I came in as a nurse and was looking at this going, okay, we need to redo these stuff. These definitions don't make sense. I don't understand what they mean. We need to redo them. We need to make them understandable to our clinicians so that they know exactly what they're looking at. So doing some of that, working on visuals, it's been and just learning from them. I've learned a lot. I can do very basic SQL, but so I can pull some of my own stuff, but the more complex stuff I just leave to them. I'm like, I need this.
Wow. That's amazing. And I think I know we're coming up on time. I think that's an amazing. I'm leaving this extremely energized. Just for hearing about that. But that is so cool. I'm so excited to write this up and promote it. And I'll give you the first pass
Okay.
before I send to the HIMSS group, just to make sure accuracy, just to make sure things are to your satisfaction. I want you to be happy about this. And, I know they're looking to make this public and promote
Yeah.
it. So I want to make sure that you're absolutely okay with everything.
And
If people want
I'm
to
a
reach
brand
out
new
to,
board member too. I'm a brand new board member. I just got elected to the board. So I'm
yeah,
really excited about that.
Trish was, they were very excited. I mean, I'm brand new sitting on this meeting, and they were very excited to have you be the first person, which is super cool. In terms of contact information, if anybody
Yeah.
wants to reach out to you, should they reach out to you on LinkedIn? Do you want to put your email on? How do you
Just
how do you
be
want
on
to do that?
LinkedIn and my CHOP email.
Okay, great. And I have
My-
that, so I'll put that. And then the final fun question is, what is your favorite hidden gem in the I keep saying Lehigh Valley, in the Delaware Valley?
I don't know. I don't get out much. I work so much, but I was trying to think of that. 'Cause there's still so many places I haven't been to, but I think there was, oh, where did I visit? There was a really cool place I went to visit. Hold on, I got it. Is it in the Delaware Valley? Yeah. Um, Otherwise I'll say Doylestown because that was super cool. Where did I go? I just have to look and see what my geotagging was.
Okay, you can get back to me on that one.
Yeah, because it was I found this tiny little place with, because I always look for things that have some history.
Okay.
And I found this tiny little place about an hour-ish north of here. And it was so tiny, you blink, you miss. And I cannot remember the name of it at all.
What was the attraction? Maybe that will help me see
That it was
if
a
I can
tiny little place and it was old.
gotcha.
It was a tiny little town and it had an inn where I ate lunch and it was very good. I took pictures. I just have to find my pictures, but I can get back to you as to what it
Okay.
was.
Wasn't Jim Thorpe, was it?
No, because I elected not to go there.
Gotcha.
Oh, here.
I'm curious now.
Where's my geo? Got it. Just where's my location? Nope. What is the location? How do I get the info on the location? Ah, I don't even know. Doesn't say. I'll have to figure. I'll look.
Okay. No problem. Does it say, sometimes my
I'll get
phone has like the pictures, it'll say where it's from, and I'm like, I don't, but then sometimes it doesn't. It's very strange. But yeah,
Yeah,
if you get back to, I'll follow up on that. And we should be
yes. I don't even remember when I went. It had to have been like a year ago.
mhm.
And I know I took pictures, so I just gotta
Sure.
find them. But I'll let
Okay.
you know. Other than
Awesome.
that, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot.
No, no worries. Where do you reside now? In
I'm in
Delaware Valley?
Lansdowne. I'm in Lansdowne.
Okay, cool.
So
I'm in the Northeast. Good old Northeast, but we're looking at maybe moving to the Cherry Hill Voorhees area. We'll see.
okay. Going to Jersey.
Yeah, well, we want to send our kids to like Jewish day school, so there's not a lot
Mhm.
of options. There's the main line, which is very expensive, and then there's Bucks
Yeah.
County. There's Bucks County, which is also expensive, but the community is just smaller.
Yeah.
And there's a school that I went to, a nursery through 8, which we could totally go to. But
Mhm.
then if you move into the area, your classmates aren't your neighbors necessarily because the school pulls from such a diverse geographic location. But in Cherry Hill, we saw a school in Voorhees and we loved it. And your classmates are your neighbors,
Oh, that's
which
cool.
that's kind of like we kind of want that community experience for
Right.
ourselves and for our boys. So that's what's making us move. And everybody's saying it's expensive, and I'm like, expensive everywhere, you know.
Oh,
But my question is always, do you get what you pay for? And most
right.
people who I know who live in Jersey say yes. I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
and you figure it out.
Cool. Well, good luck moving. I've moved twice in less than 2 years.
Yeah, that's
Atlanta to here. Not fun. Not fun, I would
yeah.
say.
My wife and I would move all the time because we love to just travel before kids. And that was it. We bought our house and we're like, well, I guess we can't do that anymore. And then we had kids and we're like, well, I definitely can't do that anymore.
Right.
So this move has been very strategic and we're still trying to plan.
I found a picture. Now, does
Okay.
it say from? Does it say where it's from? I cannot tell. How do I get the info?
Do you have an iPhone?
I do.
I'm not too
I
good with iPhones.
I found it. Um, Warwick Township, St. Peter's. That's what it was. St. Peter's Village.
St. Peter's Village. Okay.
Yeah. It's a tiny hidden little gem that seriously, you blink, you miss the quaint little town.
St. Peter's
That is
Village.
St. Peter's Village.
Okay. I am
No
looking
way.
it on a map.
And it was
That
almost
is
a year
super
ago.
cool.
It was almost a year ago I was there. I knew that. I knew it was around my birthday.
Wow. Okay. I got some research to do tonight. Looks awesome.
It's a cute, that's one of the reasons I was like, where do I want to go? I wanted a decent, a nice little drive, but not too far, and something with some history that was, old. And I had a hiking trail, so I did a little hike through there. It was really pretty.
Awesome. Awesome. Great. Well, Sherri, thank you so much for the time. It was great
Uh,
getting to meet you. Super excited about your work. I plan on staying in touch and seeing kind of
yeah.
where you go with that. And I'm not sure. I'm just starting a new role in 2 weeks, and I'm talking with my new boss still here at Temple
Uh-huh.
about going to the conference. And I know that the communication team for HIMSS wants they want me to come, try to see if I can do some video interviews, but also just help out. So, are you speaking on the 16th? Do you know?
Yeah. Yes. 4 o'clock. I,
Perfect. So that
I'm at,
that
like last, I'm at the end.
that's okay. So yeah, so that would be they want me to come on the 16th if I
Okay.
had to pick one day. So I'll let you know. I'm super excited. Um, I would like to be there. We'll meet face to face. And thanks for your time. I'm excited to write this up. And when I get this done, I'll give you the first pass. You let me know if you need any tweaks, and
Awesome.
we'll get it published.
Good. And good luck with your master's.
Thank
I
you.
just
Last
finished
part.
my doctorate. I got my BMP 2 years ago, right when I right when I was moving.
Yeah, it's oof, I couldn't even imagine.
It
That
wasn't hard. It's just time. Just
yeah,
like your
that's where I'm at. It's just time. It's just juggling it with work and Dallas transition and uh my two
math.
kids and just being tired and yeah, but
Yeah.
like we're getting it done. I'm very excited about my project, which is really fun. So that's not the issue. It's just the friction of just
Oh,
sitting
yeah.
down and writing.
Yes. Well, congratulations. Sounds like you're almost done. So,
Yes, we'll be good to go. All right. Well, take care. Have a wonderful weekend.
thanks, you too.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.